So today I would like to speak briefly on two topics. One is on mantras because I have received about 3 or 4 emails asking questions on mantras and their role and which form of mantra is the best. So I would like to speak a bit about that. And the second topic is this confusion that arises sometimes, that is a particular teacher one's guru or not? And what if you are drawn to many teachers? These are both actually subjects for independent talks. We can delve into them later, but for this live stream, for the first 20-25 minutes, I would like to dedicate to these subjects, after which we can take questions on any matter not related to these two specifically. So the first question is, are mantras for everyone? Now, in the Indian tradition, our conditioning has generally been that there is a mantra in the family, which is either passed down from the parent or the family guru or the religion. Now, as Nisargadatta Maharaj would say to people who would come to him, they were coming to him for self-knowledge, jnana yoga. But to certain kinds of people, he would suggest a mantra, and he would even, in his early days, initiate them into a mantra. And later on, he would give the mantra if anyone asked for it. But he was very clear that if one's mindset and one's aptitude is to chant a mantra, then that is the path. Because some people who came to him said, we find what you are saying too difficult to understand, and our nature is not driven to, self-inquiry. We are not the intellectual type. Therefore, please suggest something simple. So a mantra was suggested. Now, the word mantra itself means to free the mind. Mantra, man is mind. So when one's focus is on reciting or chanting a mantra, that mantra has become the focal point of the mind's attention, to the exclusion of other thoughts. Therefore, freeing the mind. Freeing the mind means freeing the thinking mind, which is always running all over the place. So someone asked me, what is the best form to receive a mantra? Should one receive it from a guru who initiates one into the mantra? And based on what I have read and spoken with masters and my own experience, the conclusion which I came to, which other people might differ with, is the best form is if a mantra spontaneously arises within yourself, or you receive it in a vision or a dream. Now, in my own case, a few years ago, it was in a dream that a mantra came to me. Out of the blue. And then when I read Sri Aurobindo, this confirmed my intuition that that which arises spontaneously from within is the best. It could even be in a moment of fear, let's say. If you see which mantra arises the fastest, that is an indication of the mantra which is for you. The second best, so to speak, we are not actually grading them, but just for understanding the different types of mantra initiation, we are going to call it that way, is receiving it from a guru. Now, guru means enlightened master. Now, why is this important? You see, because when a guru gives the mantra, one must understand that it is coming from the source. The guru represents consciousness. There are four types of speech: para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. So before a word is spoken, it emerges first from the source, translates into a thought, and then emerges from the mouth through the tongue. That is the process of delivery. So the enlightened master represents the origin of the mantra. Therefore, the importance is on being initiated by the guru with the mantra. So suppose one was wanting to recite a mantra and one did not have a vision or an intuition, etc. This is the second best option. These are far more beneficial, so to speak, than just choosing one mantra by yourself and then deciding to recite it. Because then the individual does not know whether his thinking mind has been a part of the process of choosing that mantra, or it is an intuition which has made him choose that mantra. Then I was asked, is chanting or reciting a mantra the same as playing your music and listening to mantras, chants? Now, it is not the same in that sense, because in the first two instances, the mantra has come from within. There's a more direct connection with the source from where it has arisen. But this does not mean that listening to mantras playing in the background, or chanting, let's say if you are chanting in a group, it does not mean that is ineffective, because mantras are, after all, vibrations. They are bound to impact the body, which is a vibration itself, and the atmosphere, which is a vibration too. Bound to. Now, if we take the example of the Golden Temple in Amritsar, which has a water body around it, or tank or pond, if you may, where it is considered holy to take a dip in that pond. It is because that water body has absorbed the vibrations of the chanting, which has gone on for decades and decades and decades and decades. And all these mantras have been handed down through generations. They are extremely ancient. Now, if mantras represent the content of your consciousness, and let's say you are not inclined to chanting mantras, and you are following the process of Jnana Yoga, let's take the case of Ramana Maharshi's teaching where he says, ask yourself, who am I? That becomes the mantra. The inquiry becomes the mantra because that is now what is in your mind all the time. The first focal point of attention. If Nisargadatta Maharaj says, abide in your beingness, you are not the body, that becomes the mantra. If one is thinking of that throughout the day, reflecting on the teaching, seeing its impact on one's life, that is the mantra. Mantra, freeing the mind. My Guru Ramesh Ji's mantra was, nobody is the doer of their actions. Just as it is mentioned in the Bible, in the Gita, in the Quran, and so forth. So if one was living that awareness, that in daily life, whoever I come across, my family, friends, strangers, colleagues, whoever it be, the understanding is now deep within that they are all instruments through whom the same source functions. That is the mantra. So if he says accept everything as God's will, that is the mantra. If one is complaining all the time, that is your mantra. Now, the second part, as I said, is about having a spiritual teacher or comparing spiritual teachers or following different spiritual teachers, especially today when there are so many options available to us on the internet. And there are many aspects to this subject, many ways to look at it. The most common question is it possible to have more than one guru? Now, the answer to that is a yes and a no. yes, it is possible to have more than one guru, but at any given point in time, you will have only one guru. At any given point of time, you can have only one guru. If you have two gurus at that point of time, it means the mind is still not settled and clear. Now, Ramesh ji, in his own case, had a family guru for 30 years, more maybe. And it is only when he met Maharaj, he felt this dramatic shift and realized that Maharaj is his guru. So, did Ramesh ji have two gurus? The answer is yes. But who was his final guru? Maharaj. That is a very clear answer. Now, you may have a guru, and yet what other masters say resonates with you so much that you like listening to their talks. There is certainly no harm in that. Everyone is expressing an aspect of the divine itself. All roads lead to the source. But we must ask ourselves that are we first clear, or are we still undecided? If we are undecided, so to speak, then by all means it's only through exploration, understanding the different teachings which are presented, and then seeing which one is drawn to the most. And that is measured by the direct impact in your daily living of the peace, equanimity, and tranquility you feel. If one finds that one teaching or that one teacher where you feel now I'm at rest, I have found a depth of peace which I did not find before, then that is your teacher. After that, by all means, like I said, you will find other expressions all over the world which may be echoing it in different words. And you, of course, resonate with that. But you know where you are now established. This is very crucial. And if you still don't feel that yes, I'm anchored in this one place, then the seeking continues, but now you have a measure. Now I know what I am looking for is peace. Then you start exploring with this awareness in the background that I'm not just undertaking this exercise to accumulate intellectual knowledge. I'm not just doing this to enthrall the mind with concepts, but now I know what I am looking for. And with that awareness, perhaps if it is one's destiny, one will come across that one teaching which has delivered that. That is why Maharaj has said, when he was asked this question about having many gurus or one guru, he said, you find water not by digging many shallow wells all over the land, but one deep well. Now, in my own case, it took me time to realize who was my guru. Because this word guru was loaded with so many concepts. People look down also upon this word guru. They do not understand what it truly means. And so I reached the conclusion over time that the teacher I was visiting not only echoed my own sentiments about life, But it was his teaching was a validation of my life's experience. And that is where I found my peace. But I met many masters along the way. Each has helped me in their own way. Some have impacted me deeply. But I found myself going back over 10 years to this one place. Because a lot of this comes from sanskaras, or as prarabdha, as Ramana Maharshi would say. Now, I would like to show you certain drawings. You may find them a bit abstract, about how the Guru is chosen. This is a vision which my mother had over days. She had the ability to see visions in her meditation, and that was her journey of spiritual awakening. And you will understand through this brief explanation how, after all, you have only one inner guru or one higher self, or use whatever word you like, and how this will prove that ultimately the guru is one. So this is from her diary of drawings which were published as books. I will quickly take you through a few of them. This one here is actually the self manifesting out of the individual. This is not another individual. The self in the subtle form, it has manifested out of the individual. This can happen at any age, whenever the seeking is supposed to start. This is the second step. The self now shines a light on the individual, and it is from the third eye, the eye of knowledge, intuition. So it is still the individual and the self. Now it starts expanding. This is the form of consciousness. This is the individual. It starts expanding. This is all in the subtle form, which is happening before you think you even know you're on the path, as ordained by the source. And it is after this that this one, the subtle body, which is the body of light, expands into consciousness, expands as light, and then that light identifies one form which the individual takes as the guru. So even before you think you have met your guru, this process has already been set in motion, because the guru is nothing but your inner self. That is the grace. Now, this is not possible if one has two gurus, because that is where the confusion is. So this process has to be trusted. And of course, the outer guru represents the inner guru, the Satguru, because that is how it began. It appears to us as different bodies. I am separate from the guru. This body is separate from the body of the guru. It appears to the disciple, not to the guru. So in that sense, this is how it is ordained. And of course, the Guru leads you to the inner Guru, the Satguru. But it is a step on the journey. Ramana Maharshi has spoken about it, Shirdi Sai Baba has spoken about it, Nisargadatta Maharaj has spoken about it. Because you see, sometimes there is this approach that, oh, we don't need a guru, it's our inner guru. Now, one has to see whether that statement is coming through the thinking mind of the ego, or that is one's true knowledge, true intellect, and true understanding. So there are so many things, which we take for granted. Like, for example, for me, it was a tremendous blessing that I had a mother who went through this process of Kundalini awakening, and it was our conditioning as children to absorb whatever she was saying. Like, she would say in casual conversation that, do you know the Trishul of Shiva is actually the two main nadis of the body, the sun and the moon, and the middle part of the trident is the Sushumna nadi, the channel. These are all symbolic. To us, it looks just like a Trishul, you see. Or the bells in the temple which we ring, which represent the Sahasrara Chakra, that is why they are up, or the church bells, which are right on top. So all these revelations were given to her, which were extremely beautiful. If anyone is interested in symbolism in Indian culture, then they would find her books quite appealing, because it's mainly drawings and diary entries. So coming back to this, because I've had a situation before where someone has been running past another teacher's concepts with me, which is okay by me because I am speaking from what my understanding is. But it can lead to confusion on part of the seeker. Because just as in school, now you have different subjects: math, biology, chemistry, English. But for each subject, you have one master. Another teacher of the same subject will explain it in a different way. So there's no end to the number of opinions you can get from different teachers on the same subject. Therefore, one has to be careful, because then the mind can seek endless answers to the same questions. So while it is okay for me to answer it, in that sense, a disservice is being done if this is being repeated, not only to the two teachings, but mainly to the individual seeker who can get confused in this process of thinking that he or she is clarifying things. And therefore, that is the limit of the mind. And so, in your heart, which teaching or teacher resonates with you is a fabulous pointer. In your heart, which teaching has hit home? Now I'm happy to receive questions if there are any.
Namaste, Gautam ji.
Namaste.
Indira from Bangalore.
Yes, Indira.
So, you have mentioned about your mother experiencing the Kundalini, right? So, the Shakti, what enables that and Kundalini rising. So that actually spreads around the people. I mean, the person who has experienced can actually send those vibes around people who are next to him. So, did you experience any such form of bliss or something around your mom? Because they say the physical presence of a guru is really very important. So, do you kind of get all those from her?
Indira, that's a very nice question you have asked, because I used to get asked this question all the time, that how does it feel like being with a mother like yours? But my answer to that was, I have no idea, because I never knew any other mother, you see. So I didn't know what it was not to be in that presence. So it was very hard to quantify. But yes, enlightened masters certainly have this field of presence. And that is why when Maharaj was asked, is there any benefit of actually sitting physically next to a sage? His answer was, the trees near the sandalwood tree in the forest start emitting the same fragrance. So, most certainly, there is this vibration, and that is why historically we have, especially in India, been drawn to such masters and visiting them when they have been embodied, being at their ashram, and so on. There is certainly a transmission which takes place.
There, like it's very close to Bangalore, so I don't get those vibes elsewhere. So.
Ultimately, those vibes are felt within oneself. So it is not necessary that one has to be in direct contact or close proximity with one's guru or teacher. But yes, it does help. It does help.
And how important is it to have a live guru? So we have great masters, but how important is it to have a live guru with us?
This was again asked to masters like Shirdi Sai Baba and Ramana Maharshi, and they both have said it is quite important for the transmission to take place. It is not necessary. It is not necessary. But even Shirdi Sai Baba himself, when he was asked this question, has said that one needs a living guru.
Can we see yourself also as a guru?
I don't think a guru sees themselves as a guru. It is the disciple who makes the guru. You know, when Rameshji was asked in his early days by people, some of them said, "Are you my guru?" He said, "I wouldn't know, but if you are my disciple, then I am your guru." Because it is the disciple who makes the guru. A true guru will not say, I am your guru. Is that what you were asking?
Yes. Yes. No, I can see anybody as my guru. I can even see a tree as a guru, as a person, my parents as guru, my friends as gurus. So where do you draw a line? Like, you learn from everybody, right? So,
Certainly, you can learn from the stranger on the road, from your building guard if there is one, from the dog on the street. They all are there to teach you. Because they're all aspects of consciousness. So, in that sense, if you feel that there is no need to have a guru, then you have to honor that feeling. If you're learning constantly all the time from what is around you, then that is your path. Because if the yearning is there for the guru, then the guru will manifest. If that yearning is not there, the guru won't manifest in that sense. Then everything is what you are learning from. That is the journey of life.
yeah, that's my journey, I think, because I almost read about all the saints and try to follow them as much as I can. But whenever I I was in one place with one guru, I wasn't very content for a long time. So I
No,
keep switching and
herein lies the answer. Herein lies the answer. Are you at peace?
I'm at peace at that period of time. But after some time, then I'm starting to look for something more, and then I don't find it there. So I keep looking out, and I almost listen to everybody. So
So that is what I started by saying. Because if you are at peace and equanimity, then there is no need for guru. But if it is a peace which is not lasting, a peace which is transient, which you would like more of, then allow the journey to take its course, which it will in anyone's case. In your case, even if it is not identifying that one particular teaching or teacher, let the exploration continue. But now you know what you are looking for is a peace which you don't have, and a peace which is going to last even after you move from one teacher to another. Now that you know what you are looking for, with God's grace and your destiny, you may be able to identify that.
I have been at peace, so I don't have a problem. I'm not longing for anyone in particular. That's the journey. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Namaskar, Gautam.
Yes.
Yeah. My best regards to you, and you have really beautifully explained the concept of the guru. So here I have a, very deep question uh, regarding this only. Uh, I read somewhere that if someone found or I found a true guru and that teachings really inspired me and resonate within me. So that true guru take you on the higher spiritual or the higher divine path, and he will take all your karmic baggage, that your karmic sheet, and he will uh, uh, really give you tough time in terms of balancing your sheet, like all your karmic baggage. So uh, can you just throw some light on this?
You see, there are different kinds of gurus, there are different yogas, for example. Now, I have a friend who was with a Siddha Yoga master who was given a very rough time for 10 years. He was given the lathi and he was put to cleaning the bathrooms and all. And that was the way the guru mentioned to him that I am erasing your karmas. Okay. So these are very personal and individual journeys and relationships between the guru and disciple. Now, my guru did no such thing, because all he said was everything is God's will, nobody does anything. And so, in that sense, you see, what is this karmic baggage which the guru takes? The karmic baggage is the baggage of the sense of doership, of being an individual as a separate entity. This is what is the role of the guru as consciousness, because what happens is in the relationship, you have surrendered that karmic baggage, that sense of doership to the guru who represents the source. So, yes, in that sense, the guru takes the karmic baggage, but not as an individual. You see, now my mother's guru, Justice Dudar, in his group meditations, he would tell his disciples, give me all your problems. And he would point at a space which was 2 feet ahead of his feet, point to the ground, put all your problems here. Now, what does that mean? That means he was telling the disciple to surrender their problems to the source.
True, true.
Not as an individual to another. So this whole question of the guru taking on the karma, what does it mean? If my guru says that nobody does anything, and I live that, that is my karmic load going off. The guru who represents the source, consciousness, has taken that burden off my shoulders. Same thing. If you're on the path of, gurus who are like, let's say the Nath Panthis, let's take the Siddha Yoga masters, the practices were very austere and severe. That was their way of blunting the ego, the sharpness of the ego. That is also taking away the sense of the individual as a separate entity through that means. So all of this is the journey on the karmic wheel. Different individuals are drawn to different gurus who have different methods to annihilate the sense of doership in the ego.
Okay. Yeah, that's really great. So end of the day, you will get peace.
That's the main thing. That is the main thing. That is why I harp on this subject of peace. My guru harped on it. Whatever I read, when I read Ramana Maharshi, and when he was asked, how do I know a sage is a sage? His answer was, by the sense of peace you feel and the degree of respect you have for him. These are the only 2 criteria.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Gautam. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Namaste, Gautam ji.
Yes, Santosh.
I want to ask, when you are live, that time I feel different vibes, and when I watch your earlier videos, I feel I get different vibes. Is it like it's my thinking mind that when you're live, that those vibes are very, very sharp, and those are quite different from the vibes which I get from the earlier videos. I just want to know whether it is my thinking mind or it's really like that.
No, it is quite possible, as when Indira raised a similar point, that is there any difference when you sit with someone or when you just are away, far away? Is there a difference? And then I cited Nisargadatta Maharaj about the sandalwood tree and the other trees near the sandalwood tree. You see, because Santosh, everything is a field of vibration. Our whole surrounding, right now, your surrounding is a vibratory field. Where I am is a vibratory field. Where the other people are the vibratory field. So even before the mind comes in, you know, you walk into someone's home and you say, I like this person's home. It's not about the interiors. You feel a sense of calm, a sense of peace. That is the vibration. So it is quite natural that you feel very different when you are with a person, any person. I'm not talking of just a guru. I'm not talking of just a master. Or when you see him on the TV. Now, I will give you an example from my own experience. It was the year 1999, and I had not met my guru, Ramesh Balsekar, till then. I was in Hong Kong, and my sister and her friends were hosting a teacher who is now very famous, who has played a big role in my life, called Eckhart Tolle. He was invited to Hong Kong. He was staying with my sister's friends. A few people had come together and invited him there. I was on holiday in Hong Kong. And so my sister said that, you know, please spend 1 hour with Eckhart because I have reserved that time slot for you. And at that time, I was 28, 29 years old. I was not really immersed in the subject. And I was on holiday. I had friends in Hong Kong. And I actually felt that my time was being taken away because of this. But my sister insisted, and I met Eckhart. Mind you, this is when he was not known. That is very important because that conditioning didn't come. And when I met him, and I said, you know, I said, Eckhart, I haven't read your book. I don't have a list of questions to ask of you. I'm on holiday, but my sister insisted that I sit with you. And he replied saying that I'm absolutely fine. Whatever you like to talk about, we'll talk. Whatever you don't want, if you don't want to talk, we won't. But after that 1 hour, I came out completely changed because I felt that we were talking of such inane subjects, especially me, like the weather in Hong Kong. Then I made a comment about how I saw so many people wearing black, you know, the color black at daytime, which I had not seen in Bombay, and just observations. But I felt here was a man who was listening to me with such total attention that the rest of the room had faded out. That really impacted me. And I remember telling my sister that, you know, I can't say that anything special happened, but I did observe this and it has impacted me deeply. Now, would this have happened for me on the internet? That time there was no YouTube, there was no Zoom, etc. I don't think it would have. It took that personal encounter for me to have been impacted by it. That was for me. Someone else may not feel that. Now, like you yourself had said, that for you it is different from being at the satsangs at home and from watching it right now. So that is for you. So our criteria sits well for us. Others may not have that criteria. Someone else may feel that it's the same I feel so much at peace. I've got so many emails, people I haven't met, that we feel so much at peace looking at your talks on the YouTube. Some people I will never meet, perhaps. They will never come to Bombay. I may not go where they are. But for them, then that is the transmission. You see, so it is a very individual experience. But based on my own experience, yes, I do feel that I have picked that up even on the journey I have been in my early years. I would go every Sunday to my spiritual teacher. I didn't have to, because if I could feel that peace, otherwise I would not have gone. But I felt the need to go, to be in that presence.
Thank you so much.
Hey, hi Gautam. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah, my webcam is not working. Unfortunately, my webcam is not working. So
Okay.
I am in my native place from the last 1 month, and I don't know, it's God's will that I accidentally came across your videos, and I was watching your videos this week. And then today also, it suddenly I was sleeping, got up and switched on my laptop, and suddenly live streaming is happening, and I wanted to say hi to you. That's all.
Okay, hello. You can go back to sleep now.
No, not required. I think it's somewhat I wanted to send you an email, but it happened to talk, in person. So thank you very much. I saw your videos on doership, really impressing actually.
My pleasure.
Hi, Gautam. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I read your book recently on pointers from Ramesh. And in that, one of the method that you mentioned, one of the ways is basically go back at the end of the day and see how much of your actions are yours actually. But during the meditation, when you're contemplating who you are, I realize there is an attention, and wherever the attention goes, there is a understanding and elimination of that. You're not. But I also realize concentration is very important in that. So, is there any method that you suggest to work on the concentration and also, uh, realize eliminating the attention, because I see attention is also like a problem because it takes over a doership role.
Anna, it's a question you have asked, which is very important because this is also a common misunderstanding. There's a difference between attention and concentration. When one sits in meditation, let's say, the attention is on one's being, just the fact that one is conscious. Concentration implies doership. The mind comes in because it now has to focus on one thing. Attention is like you are resting in being, and thought comes, many thoughts come, and they are witnessed as just as you witness traffic going by on the road. You are not concentrating on that, it is witnessing.
Okay.
Concentration involves an exclusion of the other things and focusing on one thing. That is doership. And that would make a very difficult journey in meditation. Meditation is allowing. So let's say you're just resting in being, and a thought comes and you get involved in that thought. At some point, whether it is after 2 minutes, 10 minutes, you will know that you were involved. And that gets cut off. That itself is what is called the witnessing. The witnessing cuts off the involvement. At some point, you say, my God, I was involved in thinking about what happened during the day. That is allowed. Everything is allowed as a movement in consciousness. This witnessing is nothing but the witnessing of life, of life's ups and downs, of life's passing experiences. They all get witnessed on the screen of consciousness. So, in that sense, there is a big difference between concentrating and awareness and attention. If you follow another path of meditation where the focus is on concentration and that gives you better results, by all means, then follow that path, because after all, you're concerned with results.
So on the contrary, it's very difficult for me to concentrate. I realize relaxing and letting things flow is far more easier. Basically, the surrender is far more easier than the doership, where you
Yes,
take charge.
because one is letting go of control. That is why.
Yeah.
The journey of letting go. It's a journey of not controlling things. We don't know what the next moment brings. That is our life's experience. So why try to control meditation?
Right. But this question came because I also listened to Muji, and he, with his invitation, he encourages you to eliminate and come to a place of being. So in that sense, definitely concentration is important, because you need to be focused. Correct me if I'm wrong.
See, I would not like to comment on Muji, but I think he's saying almost the same thing. Muji is someone I've known for many years now, probably over 15 years, and we are very fond of each other. You see, he is talking about the same thing of resting in one's being. So, if we are saying concentrating, what he's trying to show is to eliminate the individual as a person with its likes and dislikes and personality. From what I have read of Muji and I've published his books, he is trying to show you that what is transient is not you. That is his own religious teaching, whether it was Papaji, Ramana Maharshi, and so on. So it's a way it is presented. So, in that sense, if one is referring to concentration, the concentration is on abiding in one's being. But that cannot be an exercise which has to be judged with an outcome, because that would be quite, I feel that would not be certainly the way which he has suggested it, but I may be wrong.
What do you mean by the outcome? As in, what does it mean? Basically, the outcome, or basically resting in being, is what is the finally
abiding. See, as Maharaj said, we are so busy making use of consciousness by doing things all the time that rarely are we established as consciousness. So abiding in being is just not doing anything, not becoming anything, but just resting as awareness of one's being, one's sense of existence. And that becomes over time a way one is looking and living one's life. You're abiding in the presence.
Okay.
Not the layered presence with the ego and its thinking mind and its judgments and its concepts and so on. That is what Muji is trying to point out to.
And also one more thing is, how do I know that it's not mind that is trying to deceive in terms of a blank state or whatever? So is there any way that I can know that it's not the mind, but it is truly my being?
Anything that takes you away from the peace of mind. Anything that takes you away from peace is the mind.
So there is no way mind can project a fake peace of mind.
No.
Okay. Okay, Gautam, thank you. Huh?
Gautam, I was reading I am that PDF, and there is a lot of mention of beingness and I amness. So this beingness is nothing but it's a without any particular name and any kind of form or any conditioning of the mind, just sitting and observing the silence and without following any thoughts. Is that what is meant by beingness and I amness?
Yes, but you cannot control the without any thoughts. Thoughts will come if they are meant to come.
Okay. It is like pure it's a silence basically where we feel very happy.
You see, imagine if right now we pressed a button and all your memory was wiped out at this moment.
Okay.
You wouldn't know your parents, your name, your children, whatever, where you are, nothing. Your entire memory is wiped out right now. What you would be left with is just your sense of being, because you will know that you exist.
It is just a jiva, right?
No, the jiva is the individual.
Okay.
The sense of being is the I am, just pure presence. When the individual I am Mahantesh has not stepped in with its conditioning, because that conditioning has been erased.
Okay.
That is the
Got it.
sense of being.
Good morning, Gautam sir.
Yes, Pragati.
Hi again. I was very intrigued by your mother's drawings, the visions, and I have been experiencing something over the last, say, 10 years, and I've not been able to make out what it is that I've been experiencing, and I want to share and ask if you can help. So whenever I'm doing yoga, I'm with a teacher, or I'm in a setting where there are devotional songs playing or anything spiritual. When I close my eyes, I see a small thumb sized image of the person I'm with. The moment I close my eyes, I have not been able to figure out what it is.
That is the subtle body. That is the subtle body, and explore it. Go further into it. Ask what it is. Ask yourself. Meditate on it, and it will reveal itself to you.
Okay.
And you might get more insights on these kind of aspects if you look up my mother's website, santoshsachdeva.com. You can see her works, because it is all about these kinds of experiences.
It was a beautiful session again. God sent.
Thank you. I think we can take one more question, maybe.
Thank you.
Gautam?
Bye.
Yeah.
Hello, Gautam.
Yes.
Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, I can. But what is your name?
I'm Sai from Bangalore, Gautam.
Sai. Hello, Sai.
Yeah. Hi, Gautam. So you talked about Eckhart, and I have a question on Power of Now. I was just wanting to ask you the question for a long time, actually. I see that you've written the foreword of the book. I just wanted to read out the last paragraph that you have talked about there, where Eckhart's parting words have been mentioned. And I just quote the words that Eckhart has talked about. He says, remember, you are not going anywhere. All things come and go, but you are not what happens. You are the silent space in which all things happen. So I've been trying to analyze or at least understand what Eckhart has been trying to say there, but haven't got a gist of his statement. Could you please, throw some light on that, Gautam?
Yes, it's very simple, Sai. It's exactly what we were discussing now, and what Maharaj says, what Anna said about when you abide in your being, you realize that no matter what happens in your life, all your trials and tribulations, all your pleasures and pains, that has been witnessed. It is on that screen of witnessing that all this has happened. Otherwise, you would not know that all this tamasha has gone on in your life. That is the space in which things happen. The fact that you are aware, the fact that Sai knows that he was at one point 5 years old, at one point 20 years old, at one point 30 years old, means there was that constant awareness there, as a result of which he knows this happened, this happened, this happened, these were my pleasures, these were my pains, these were my high points, these were my low points. So that knowing is the witnessing, the screen of presence. And that is why Maharaj would say that my job, as Maharaj's job, is to drive a wedge between your experiencing, because there's no end to this experiencing. There's absolutely no end, and the witnessing. So drive a wedge between being, just pure awareness, consciousness, conscious presence, and experiencing the ups and downs in life. So when you're more rested in being, this starts affecting you less and less, which is what Eckhart says. You are not what happens, which is this whole tamasha. You are the space in which this is all perceived as happening. That is what the sage who is at peace is resting in his being. We have got entangled with this Leela and started running away and getting impacted and affected by everything. And that is why the Buddha said samsara is dukkha, nirvana is shanti. Samsara is dukkha, the world is full of suffering, nirvana is peace. And he added, they are not two. They are not two. The peace is the witnessing, and this is the Leela which is happening. So you are not what happens, because your whole life's experience so far has been everything has come and gone. Everything is transient. You have lost loved ones, you have lost money, you have made money, you have built different relationships. You are not what happens, but you are the space in which things happen.
Hello.
I hope that has answered your question to
So
some.
when you say space, Gautam, it basically is a sense of being that we have been trying to figure out, right?
Which is always there.
Always there, yeah. So I think even Eckhart keeps saying that we have to find that space between two thought processes where you have that view to see what it's all about.
Yes, so
What
you
is the
don't
thought process?
actually have to find that space. You will notice that that space is there. Only the attention is now focused on that space.
That is true, right? I've been going through some of his, chapters, and as I read through them, I get more and more, I think, such questions.
Beautiful, beautiful. The impact Eckhart's work has had,
Absolutely.
and I think if we are fortunate, he will be in Bombay next January or February.
Wonderful. It will be a good session to meet with him,
Yeah.
him as well. Thanks, Gautam. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think that's enough for today. I think the next talk will be next Sunday at the same time. If any of you have questions, one idea might be to send them by email to mails@gautamsachdeva.com. And I'll go through them and see if anything could become the topic for the next talk, or I could answer those questions. And meanwhile, as I had said in the earlier live streams, this is an absolutely wonderful opportunity. We are all sitting at our homes. It would be, we all are seekers, otherwise we wouldn't be here today. We are all on the same journey, and to explore the journey, to introspect, to use this time for such aspects of life and living which have a direct impact on our peace is a gift we are giving ourselves. So I would just like to end this with a couple of minutes of silence, and then till we meet again.